And what we have today is the maiden flight of the Hobby King Crusader, also known as the Ugly Stick, in the blue paint scheme. Running a 1100 kV motor in there. I'll put some of the details in the description. And have a 2200 3S for the maiden today. Should have plenty of power. At least 1-to-1 on thrust to weight. Running the Lemon RX 7-channel in there. I have the stabilization on, but there's no wind, so it's not going to do anything. Don't really need it. I have a mix in with the ailerons to elevator, about 25% elevator. And I'm going to start off here on low rates. Alright, I'm going to move to high rates because it seems kind of mushy. Got a big wingspan, about 48 inches. Don't really need any trim. I'm going to go hands off now. Coming down a little bit. Look. What happens when you take your eye off? And a couple clicks of up. Alright, really slow roll. But can do some maneuvers. Got such a big wing though. Hammerhead. Did that pretty good. Oh, I hear my alarm going off here. I'm going to go around once and come in. Just check the battery for the first flight. Alright, I'll take that. Alright, just checking the battery. I'm running a Precision Aerobatics 2200 and 47%. That's not too bad with a 4-minute timer. I'm going to reset it to 5 minutes, and I think that'd be plenty. And you have a little extra for a go-around or something. And Just wanted to do a quick part here of the video to show you what the flying weight of this plane is. So I'm going to reset the scale to 0. We're at 1,000 grams even, which is 2.2 pounds. And we're going to do a quick thrust test. Reset it to 0 again. Give it full throttle for a couple seconds here and just test it out. Alright, so it's at least 1,015. So it peaks a little bit higher, but you're at least at 1,015, so you're at a better than 1-to-1 thrust to weight ratio. Gives you, you know, a lot of options. Can do some vertical, and certainly can do some cubinates and loops without any trouble at all. You could put a 4-cell in here. It depends on the motor and the ESC you buy, but you can. And there in the background, that's my. It's actually a Hobby King plane too. It used to be. Well, it was painted originally by the company as the Hobby King Tornado, and I just repainted it and I modified it a little bit. But maybe that'll be another video someday. Just wanted to wrap up the video with a little build summary. Not a build, but more of a summary. The plane itself is all balsa, and it comes coated with all the pieces. You don't have to actually do any coating. The surfaces for the controls, like the aileron, the rudder, and the elevator, are not attached. They do give you these nylon hinges that you pop out and put in. I used them on the elevator and the rudder. The aileron, which, you know, each one runs span of half the wing. For the center two, I used the stock ones, but on the ends, I used some Dubro metal pin hinges. But you could use these; it would work fine. On the inside, you know, you have to supply your own motor and ESC. So I have the 40 amp E-flite in here. I just have some standard 9-gram servos. That's my receiver back there. For the motor, I used a 28 by 36 1100 kV motor by Turnigy, which I got online. I'm also using a 9 by 6 thin electric prop. I'd recommend the thin electrics if you're going to use these kind of small motors and it's not as heavy a load. You can get those, you know, online at the various stores. Overall, it's not that hard to build. I did notice, though, that the linkages they give you for the rudder, the hex wrench, was actually, you need one that was really small. It was smaller than you get on the standard hex set. I ended up having to buy a set that had some really tiny hex wrenches in it to use for that. They provide you with some of the horns and all. You can use those, or you can, you know, get some. I got some that actually go through the surface and then attach on the back with another plate. If you want to do the traditional connections, you can, or you can use what they provide. You know, it's going to take you a couple hours to put it together. If you've never done a kit plane, this is probably a good starting plane because it's not that hard, and you're not actually assembling, you know, any of the pieces of the balsa. On the motor, you're going to have to decenter it and then cut through with a drill to attach it. You know, there's some lateral pieces of balsa I had to remove so that I could mount it, and I'm using my own battery strap and some Velcro to keep the motor down. But overall, it's a good kit plane for your first one. And you know, you saw from the thrust to weight ratio test that it actually works pretty good with this setup. I really wouldn't necessarily go with a bigger motor, but this actually is rated for 4S, so I may run it on 4S the next time. But just be careful you don't overload your ESC or the motor itself. Anyway, happy flying, and hope you enjoy the plane.